Okay, the next part of this chapter deals with what we call the general power rule. This is basically a power rule used with a derivative again in mind. It's very similar to it, but it involves a whole section that is being derived as in its entirety. It's kind of like the chain rule in terms of power rule. So I guess you could say it's F sub power rule sub chain rule, and then we'll go from there. Anyway, the proof is pretty similar to what we have with the power rule. If you have a function of u sub of x as your function, then your derivative is going to be n times that times this whole function to the negative 1 power times the derivative of that. Or n times u to the n minus 1 times u prime. When you identify u, like we did with the previous problems, it's kind of, like I said, like a chain rule going into motion with the power rule at the same time. So let's take a look at some examples. Again, let's take a look at problem number 13, continuing on where we left off on the previous video. This is u is equal to, I'm sorry, that's not the problem, that's part of the solution. So y equals the cubed root of 9x squared plus 4. Right, so we're going to rewrite this in terms of this radical. Give her the radical and put an exponent for that. So it's 9x squared plus 4, take it to the 1/3 power. So there's your n value, your 1/3. So when we find the derivative of that, n to the 1/3 comes over times n squared plus 4 minus 1, so that's minus 3/3, so it's a negative 2/3, times the derivative of this entire function inside the parentheses. 2 times 9 is 18, and subtract 1 there gives us 18x. Okay, so this is our starting point. Now what we need to do is clean up the mess. We got 1/3 times 18x, which is 6x. And we have now in the denominator, because we have a negative exponent, we want to get rid of all of our negative exponents. That goes to the denominator, and this becomes 9x squared plus 4 to the 2/3 power. That's all there is to it. Okay? Let's take a look at number 15, or let's just jump to 17. 15 is pretty similar. We want a little different here. Number 17, we got y is equal to 1 over x minus 2, which is x minus 2 to the negative 1 power. Alright, so y prime is going to be equal to, take this n down, make that negative 1. Then we're going to take x minus 2 and subtract 1 from that, we get negative 2, times the derivative of x minus 2, well, we don't care about the minus 2, the derivative of x is 1. So we end up with 1 over, because that's a negative exponent, x minus 2, quantity squared. There you have it. So let's jump down to number 23. F of x equals x squared times x minus 2 to the 4th power. Okay, now we're going to do a couple of things at once. Well, first of all, we're going to recognize that we just use the general power rule on these two parts. So let's do that. That's going to be x squared times the derivative of x minus 2 to the fourth power in respect to x plus then x minus 2 to the fourth power times the derivative of x squared. So d of x squared will be x. Okay? So this becomes here x squared. Now we use the general power rule here. This is our u. When we put times on here, 4 goes down in front. X minus 2 becomes to the third power. And then the derivative of x is 1. Plus, and then we'll put this down in front, x minus 2 to the fourth power, times, and this is just the derivative of x squared, which is 2x. Okay? So, this becomes then 4x squared times x minus 2 quantity cubed. Then this becomes 2x times x minus 2 to the fourth power. Now, what we're going to do at this point is we're going to find factors common in each one of these two terms. We got a 2 in each term, we got an x in each term, and we got 3 x minus 2's in each term. So we're going to factor out then 2x times x minus 2 quantity cubed. That's going to leave us 2x here, plus, and that's going to leave us x minus 2 here. So I'll put that in emphasis the first power because we took 3 of those out of there. Okay, now I'm going to simplify this right here. This becomes 3x minus 2. And so what I'm going to do with that is make sure I get it right. I'm not sure here. No. Oh, that's the wrong one. Yes, that's pretty much as far as I'm going to go with this. So 2x times x minus 2 cubed times 3x minus 2. That's as factored out as I'm going to get for that. So we're going to stick with that answer. That was a nice one. Let's take a look at number 25. That's a handy little problem. Y equals x times the square root of 1 minus x squared. And we'll rewrite that as x times 1 minus x squared to the 1/2 power. So the derivative of this, again, we'll do what we did before. X times the derivative of 1 minus x squared. Let me just write that out like that so we can go from there. Derivative in terms of x of 1 minus x squared plus 1 minus x, I'm sorry, to the 1/2 power. Sorry. 1 minus x squared to the 1/2 power times the derivative with respect to x of x, which of course we know is going to be 1. So over here, x times, so we're going to use the general power rule here. 1/2 goes in front of this. And then this is going to make this 1 minus x squared to the 1/2 minus 1, which is the negative 1/2 power, times the derivative inside of this, which is negative 2, x. Wow, that's a bunch. So let me put all that together. That's this whole left side right here. Plus, now, you go over here and you write down 1 minus x squared to the 1/2 times the derivative of x, like we said, is 1. So let's clear this nonsense out over here. This 1/2 times negative 2 is negative 1, so I'm going to put a negative sign there again. And this is going to be x, and it's a negative 1/2, so I'm going to put 1 minus x squared to the 1/2 power here. Plus, and now I'm going to have 1 minus x squared to the 1/2 power right here. Now, technically that's over 1, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the lowest common denominator, because I can see I can get rid of this radical right here by doing that. So this is going to be negative x plus something. I'm going to put 1 minus x squared to the 1/2 power. Of course, this goes to that 1 time, and 1 times x is x, so that's where we get that from. And then there's the denominator here is 1, so I'm going to put that in there, so just to remind us. 1 goes to that 1 minus x squared to the 1/2 power, and then we multiply 1 minus x squared to the 1/2 power squared. Now, 2 times 1/2 is 1, so that becomes x plus 1 minus x squared over 1 minus x squared to the 1/2 power. And I'll just rearrange this so I've got everything in order here. This will be negative x squared. They generally like descending order in exponents. X squared plus x. Negative x squared plus x plus 1 over, and this is negative, the whole fraction is negative, 1 minus x squared to the 1/2 power over the square root of 1 minus x squared. Now, I generally don't like negative with negative there. I guess your authors didn't have an issue with it, but I kind of do. So I'm just going to multiply all this by negative 1 and get rid of this. So that's going to be x squared minus x minus 1 over 1 minus x squared to the 1/2 power. And there's your answer for that. Okay? Your assignment then on page 137. 14 through 30. E. Good luck.